Hi everybody, it's me Jamie of Jamie's Hooked. It is August 14th, 2024, and I know it's been a while. I was going through some burnout and I just got really overwhelmed with my channel and everything, and I just needed some time to take off. And so I'm trying to get back in the saddle, so to say. And though I've had a lot going on recently, but what I really wanted to show you today is I had gotten a hold of some yarn for on clearance. So Miguel of Who Knows, which is his channel on YouTube is Who Knows, really sweet gentleman, and he crochets, and he also has a flock of chickens and a goose, and he's always showing off his chickens, which is just a delight. If you like chickens or geese or any kind of livestock whatsoever, it's a lot of fun. And we actually live in the same neighborhood per se. Well, my neighborhood is a little bit more south than his neighborhood, but we are within driving distance of each other. So anyway, he was like sending out a short of like yarn enabling, and I was just like, what? And I know what neighborhood he was in, and he was at a Micheals, and I was like, is that the one that I think that it is? And he's like, yes. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go check it out, and I did. So I hauled my boyfriend on our date night, and we went to Micheals, and God bless him, he is like so on board with my whole crochet gig. He totally is. He's very awesome. So we get up to Micheals, and when I walk up to the building, there's a sign on the door, and it says fabric here, and I'm like, oh, they started carrying fabric. So I'm tromping back to the yarn department, and I noticed like it's missing an aisle. Like since last time I've been there, which has been a couple of years since I've been in that one, because my sister used to live in that neighborhood, so I used to keep her kids, and so I would pop in there on occasion. And that one in particular hasn't always had a really good yarn department, but I noticed that it was even like less an aisle, and it must have just recently happened. And so I went, you know, it was like like one complete aisle and half of an aisle of just, that was all they had. And it was just kind of like, wow, this is not much. They didn't have very much of a selection. Um, so it was kind of sad to see, especially if you're a yarny and you're just like, where how do yarny people get represented? So anyway, I went to where they had the Loops and Threads, Sweet Snuggles, and Sweet Snuggles Light. And that's, they're basically the same yarn, but one is a 6 weight and one is a 7 weight. And they had about half a dozen or so colorways on sale for $5. Usually this yarn is like $9.99, $10. So it's basically half price. And so when we got there, it was a mess. I mean, like nothing was where it was supposed to be. It was a jumbled mess. And honestly, after my search, it wasn't any better. So my boyfriend and I were looking at the tags, ones for $5, and then we were comparing the UPCs and the colorways. And I had to teach him how to, like, okay, what's the difference between regular Sweet Snuggles and Sweet Snuggles Light? And I had to explain it to him, and he's like, oh, that's what that means. I was like, yeah. And so we went through every single skein and looked at every tag, and we figured out like which ones were going to be $5. And then just in case, so underneath the shelves, they have these black bins, like pull-out bins underneath the shelf. And I pulled out every single one of those looking for more yarn. And I did find one skein of the yarn that was on sale, but I pulled them all out, and it was all underneath the new fabric display and everything. I was adamant about finding $5 yarn because it's an investment for my business. You know, this is my business. This is how I make money. So I was really adamant in finding discount yarn. Now, I have said in the past, I was like, I'm not buying discount yarn anymore, but this is a product that I use all the time. Like, before I was just buying cheap yarn just to be buying cheap yarn because I was like, oh, it's on sale, but this is actually something that I use all the time. So, I'm going to show you the colorways that I got. I only got 3 different colorways, but it was like, I don't know, we were in there like 40 minutes. And but we had a good time, and I was just like, you know, and he was really adamant about helping me find it, and I was like, man, you're awesome. Okay, so, all right, this is Loops and Threads, and it's just regular Sweet Snuggles, and this one is the teal colorway. Yes, the teal colorway. So this is a number 7 yarn, bulky. It's almost showing up true to camera, so it looks a little bit more blue on camera as opposed to at vision it looks more green. So I'm thinking like, this could so totally be some dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs that I like to make are, I can't remember, Crochet by Katie, I want to say that's her name. I might be wrong. I will put a notation in the description box. Maybe I'll flash it up on the screen. I don't know. I have to figure out how to edit. I got my newer computer set up, so I'm actually recording on my new computer, and I'm so excited about that. It took a teenager to help me figure it out. You know what I mean? So, anyway, and then it would be the Crochet Club Triceratops and the Tiny Rex by Sweet Softies. And I will link all of these down below. But this makes great sized, like medium sized dinosaurs. You know, nothing too big, nothing too small. And I also want to learn how to make some stegos. So some stegosauruses. So that's definitely on my list. Okay. Then I picked up the last 3 skeins of this one. Now this is Sweet Snuggles Light. This is a 6. So this is 6 millimeter. This is called turquoise. Yeah, turquoise. So it's more blue than it is green. You know, definitely. But again, I can make some brontosauruses with this, or maybe some frogs. This makes some great frogs. Even that teal would make a great frog. So definitely got some frogs, or I've even used the teal to make, help make spiders. So there is a popular no-sew spider pattern. I can't remember who makes it. It's Chicken Soodle Noop is who's the designer, and I found her through another podcaster. I can't remember who, another channel, and I can't remember who introduced it to me. But I also had seen it on Pinterest, and I have made like several spiders, and I used the teal, and it's great. I've even used this to make loaf cats. And yes, I made a teal love cat. And I know a lot of people like making love cats to match, like, you know, actual pet colors, but this was just for fun. And this is what I had, you know. So I just went ahead and did it, and I sold them. I sold my love cat, my teal love cat. So you can have fun with it. So I had purchased the last 3 balls of that. Skeins, balls, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And this is the one that I have found in the bins underneath the shawls. Like, I scoured. And this one is also a Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles Light. And this one is called Silver. So it's a nice, pretty light gray. And so this instantly gives me elephant vibes. And I'm just like, I so have been thinking about elephants the last couple of days. And I've been looking at elephant patterns for a little while now. And I haven't made any except for the mini elephant from Instagram. And I will also link that down below too, which one I'm talking about. But this would definitely make a nice elephant. And I'm going to design my own. And I am going to modify somebody else's pattern. So basically I'm taking someone else's base and I'm going to modify it. I've done that with my crochet pigs. So I took somebody's cow pattern and I modified it to be a pig. I'm going to do something really similar to that, make it into an elephant. I might just make a totally different elephant altogether. So this is actually might be something that I am making personally myself. But I'm kind of going with their scale. Basically matching up stitch variations, maybe like what I'm talking about, like, they have so many rows of single crochet and then they have a row of increases. Well, I might match up my increases with their increases, not necessarily in the same number, but maybe in the same type of sequence, if you understand what I mean by that. Maybe like, for instance, on the arm of this elephant, I'm thinking like I've got like four rows of single crochet, and then I start doing a decrease, and then it's 2 single crochet and a decrease, and that's the same as that person had made a pattern for, but then I add, maybe it's a different amount of decreases. But in the spirit of trying to figure it out, it's kind of like a guideline. So I'm not going to say it's a true pattern for myself. I don't know. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what if I contact this pattern creator, and I will send it to her and ask her, like, hey, I made a modification on your pattern. I want to ask to see if I can sell it, but I will give you credit for your inspiration, because sometimes it's the mechanics of things. Like somebody else will figure out the mechanics of how a pattern is created, and you're taking this element and that element from these patterns, and I can't really say that it's my true pattern. Like, I didn't 100% think of it up. I just modified it. And there are some other things that I've been thinking about, like, maybe I should go a different route. So I'm just going to play with it and see. Whenever I make things with a new pattern with this chenille type of yarn, this stuff flakes really bad, and you can't frog it too much. You can maybe frog it maybe once, twice at most before it just starts shedding on you and flaking. That's what I call it, flaking. And it starts losing its piling and stuff. So what I will do is I will take worsted, regular plied worsted yarn, and I will make it with that. And it also helps me to determine, like, if I need to adjust, or if I am developing a pattern, that it will help me to figure out how many stitches to make, and so on and so forth, and I can frog it to my heart's content. The only downside to frogging, sometimes when you frog, the integrity of the yarn isn't as great. Sometimes it will be, because it's been pulled on it so much, it will stretch, and it kind of works out a little bit thinner, but that's fine. Some of it's just, R&D. And that's kind of what I've been, up to this last week. I did have a market on Saturday, and it was ridiculous. It was not good. My summer markets have been bad. I mean, like, I really have hardly made any sales whatsoever. And yes, and this Saturday was just awful. And it was like the weekend before school started. It was tax-free weekend. Everybody was out shopping for their kid. We were also indoors, and when you have a craft market and you're indoors, even though this was a very well-established market, and it's the same time every month, you know, it's the second Saturday of every month. It's well-established. You know, I see, you know, and I've been doing this market for consistently, except for June and July. June, I was on vacation. July, I was thought like this was too hot. It was too hot to be outside. So when she said, well, August we're going to do indoors, and I was like, okay, yes, I'll do it. Though my space, instead of a 10 by 10, I only got like a 6 foot by 6 foot space. And I didn't do so hot. And also part of it was, A, the customers weren't there, but B, there were like 4 other crocheters there, like technically 5. And we're in like this church meeting room, and it's like a big, like an auditorium. And within my line of sight, it was like 1, 2, 3, you know, from my line of sight, I could like look from my booth and see everybody else's table, you know. And then in the front room where everybody comes in at, there was one person already over there, and I was just like, why couldn't you just break us up? Like, you know, why did you have to cram us all together, you know? And I'm just like really frustrated over that, you know. So I kind of broke even. I broke even a little bit over, you know. It was only like a $50 investment. Usually it's 65 if I was outdoors, and it was just crazy. I did like $58 or something like that. It was crazy. It's all I sold, you know, and I've got a lot of I got a lot of inventory right now. So anyways, I thought I'd catch up with you guys and just kind of let you know what was going on. I hope to be more present on my channel now. I'm thinking about going a different direction than what I used to in the past. I used to do like a little lives and everything like that. If I do lives, I'm probably just going to be doing market prepping lives. And I'm just going to be covering patterns, testing, you know, pattern creation, you know, my market experiences, those types of things. And I think that is what speaks to me now as a small business owner. I've gone in that direction, and I think it's going to help me niche down on things. Before it would just be random, whatever. But now I think I got more of an objective. I've got more of a goal. So I hope that you guys that, you know, like this type of content, that you stick with me. And if you don't like this type of content, that is okay. You know, not everybody is meant for everybody, and that's okay. So I do appreciate you guys who have been with me for the longest time, and, you know, being here as my subscribers. If you are new, please, you know, like and subscribe, and I hope to see more of you around. Okay, so thanks guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you or talk to y'all later. All right, ta-ta for now.